Hey everybody, welcome to the early predictions for UFC Fight Night, Cyril Gane versus Sergey Spivac. These are our early full card predictions. Like and subscribe as always, and let's break down this pretty mediocre or lackluster card. First fight of the night actually is a good fight, however. We got Farid Basharat versus Gane Rodrigues. Basharat is a hell of a grappler. I don't think it warrants his monstrous favorite price tag. Claydson, yeah, I mean, technically he probably can get out grappled and maybe he'll get a veteran experience here or whatever. But someone with the explosiveness and the speed and the striking power of Gane Rodrigues is always going to have a chance. I'm rooting for Claydson. Basharat probably makes us a boring fight and grinds him, maybe even finishes him later on. But I'm rooting for Claydson. I understand that Basharat has a clear path to victory here, but I don't like the 3 to almost 4-1 favorite here. What do you think?
Same.
Same.
I think he has the grappling
edge, but
I don't know if he can.
I don't know if he can hold him down.
Claydson has a lot of good scrambles, and the striking is a little bit like wild, right? So that in itself can hit Farid with a shot out of nowhere. That can happen from Claydson because that's the type of fighter he is, right? But you know, this fight, he lost to CJ Vergara. CJ grinded him. Farid is basically a better version of CJ, like a way better version of CJ. So yeah, he probably wins at minus 334, but like I don't want to lay minus 334. I don't feel that comfortable with it.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on, next fight of the night, we got Loosa versus Vs McKee. I feel pretty confident Loosa's going to win this fight. I think he's probably better everywhere. He's a big, athletic guy, and I just think he's the more well-rounded fighter here. So I'm going to choose the better athlete, Loosa, to get the win. I think he's going to be one of my few plays this card because I'm going to be honest, I don't like this card. I don't like this card for betting. I'm not confident in a ton of spots, but I do think Loosa gets this done. What do you think?
Well, Vs McKee's in those 2 fights he lost in the UFC, he went up against Khamzat Chimaev and he went up against Alex Morono. So I don't know how much we could really take away from those 2 fights because like him not getting wiped out by Alex Morono was probably a little bit of a win, to be honest with you. I feel like he can get pushed around, but I feel like has a lot of tenacity. On the regional circuit, he seems to be finishing everybody. So that's something here. But Loosa, I feel like he's stronger. I feel like he can push Reese up. Reese is a skinny guy, right? I feel like he can grind him up. There's another one. I feel like you can just push him up against the fence, hit him with a big shot, something like that. What are the odds? Minus 200. It's still fucking wide, but like really, there's not a lot of plays on this card. I feel like Loosa wins. Again, I'm not really willing to push minus 200 on him, but I feel like he wins.
All right. Next on the card, we got Nora Cornolle versus Jocelyn Edwards. If you guys aren't aware, actually, there's been 4 canceled fights. So you guys might see I'm missing some fights here. They've been canceled. There was a lot of last minute cancellations. Sorry, back to the topic here, where we got Nora Cornolle versus Jocelyn Edwards. Nora's a striker. Edwards likes to strike as well. So you got to think this will mostly be on the feet. However, Edwards is so bad on the ground. So Nora would be wise to shoot here probably because Edwards, even though I don't think she's some great striker, she's so lanky that she seems to have success and seems to frustrate people with her kicks and with her length. Nora's not small by any means, and Nora's the harder hitter, but I think if she wants to work a takedown or 2, she can. I like the dog here. Hey, women's MMA, I wouldn't make this a confident pick. I wouldn't make this a big parlay piece, anything at all. But for me, this is going to be dog or pass. I think Nora can win this fight. I think she's okay on the feet, and I think she can I don't know. I like Nora here, but I'd expect it to go long. I expect it to go the distance. What do you think?
That's funny. I actually like the dog here too. Not because she's anything crazy, but one, she is a finisher. That's the good thing. She does seem to have some pretty good striking, does seem to have some pretty good finishing power, does seem to go for it when she has the opportunity to finish a fight. Now, the red flags are she is debuting in the UFC. It's women's MMA. What you look like on the regional circuit never really pans out sometimes to what you look like in the UFC. But now there's red flags on Jocelyn's. You might say, oh, she's on wiki cap this, and she's on a 3-fight winning streak, right? Ramona Pasquale, she had her moments where she could have lost that fight, or where Pasquale was having some good things happen for her. Jeon Kim, she lost a split decision to Jeon Kim. Like that in itself says it right there. And then she got actually gifted I rewatched the Lucy Pudilova fight, gifted a decision last time. We had her. She was a dog, and she got gifted that decision. So this is where I come up with this dog or pass thing. It's the same situation here. We said Pudilova had the better striking last time, blah, 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 blah. And then she got dog or pass. So I feel like it's the same situation here. And Nora shows some good things. And she is a finisher. And we know that Jocelyn doesn't go for it. So let's take a dog on this one, buddy. I'm with you on this.
All right. Next on the card, we got another women's MMA fight. We got Zarah Fairn versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. It's funny because skill-wise, this looks like a pretty close competitive fight that either of them can win, but one is an old 36 and one is a young 26. So I'm going to go with the youth, the speed. Like Zarah gasses. She's gassed many times in the past. So I got to go with the younger girl here. I'm not sure what the odds are, and I don't think it's something I'm going to be playing, but I do think Jacqueline's going to win this fight. You see something there?
Minus 334.
Yeah, so I'm not playing minus 334 because I actually think it's winnable for both of them, to be honest. Like skill set wise, Zarah's an okay striker. Like she has a chance on the feet or whatever, but I think she's going to gas out, and Jacqueline will separate down the stretch. Like it might start close, but it's going to end kind of obvious that Jacqueline's the more volume fighter here. That's what I think. But again, it's probably nothing I'm going to touch. What do you think?
Well, she beat Nora Cornolle. So if we think Nora's going to win, we probably think that Jacqueline's going to win. To be honest with you, I think she does win. Her only loss is to Martina Jindarova. She's that fighter from PFL. She's pretty good. She has good stuff. So that loss isn't too bad. Now Zarah Fairn, man, who was it that she fought last time that I think I put a dog shot at her? Yeah, it was Felicia Spencer. No, Josie Noon. No, I must have never dog shotted her. I would never dog shot her against those two. But yeah, man, she's tall. She does have the range and stuff, but like, I just don't see the UFC skill there. Like, I just don't see anything. It's like she's like just a better than an average soccer mom out there. Like, I just don't see it. I just don't see. I don't even want to say that she has no skills, but her striking, she should be long. She should use those kicks. She should use those punches. She should keep Jacqueline at bay, keep her at distance, but she doesn't know how to control that. I feel like the younger fighter is going to be the far superior fighter in volume, far superior fighter in speed, and far superior fighter in skill.
And IQ. That Zarah's shown some bad IQ in the past too.
I agree.
All right, next up on the card, we got the last prelim. We got Morgan Charierre versus Manolo Zeechini. These guys are both kind of unknown. I actually had to watch a little bit of both of them. They're both strikers, so this should actually be a decent fight to watch. I think these guys are going to stand and bang it out. Neither of them really shoots many takedowns, so I see them striking. And when I look at the odds, Morgan is a pretty big favorite if I remember correctly, and I don't think he should be. This is a close fight, man. It wouldn't shock me if either of them win this fight, to be honest. I'll take Morgan, but zero confidence when two guys are both strikers and they both hit hard, and they're both unknown. I don't know. Like the fight's a pass for me. What do you think?
Well, I feel like Morgan has the more well-rounded game because he's not only won by KO 10 times, he's also won by decision about, I think, five or six times, and he's won by submission 5 or 6 times. Something around there. So he's shown a wide spectrum of actually winning. Now, what's this guy's name? Zucchini, sorry, my bad. I thought it was Zucchini. But he has 11 wins, but 8 of them are KOs. So he's like, what happened? So we read into that. Look at his finishes. You can't really tell by the guys. You got to read into the stats here. Like because these both guys are just brand new into the UFC, right? So read in, so 8 out of 11. So let's see, he's basically knockout or bust. Is he throwing good volume? I didn't really see that great volume. Most of his fights are down in the first or second round. So based on that, and based on what I saw at Morgan's, none of them do shoot a lot of takedowns, but Morgan's more willing to shoot a takedown, right? Morgan's more willing to go for a submission, more willing to show a diverse game. Minus 300 or whatever he has is kind of off. Again, what is it? Minus 300? Let me look. Minus 300. Gross. Man, it's off again, man. It's off again. Like, I'm not picking the dog. I think Morgan wins. He's a better, more diverse fighter. But, like, the odds suck.
Yeah, 100%. All right, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Strange opener to the main card. Two relatively unknown guys. Sorry, we got Ghemmouri versus Loughran. Loughran, undefeated, champion in the smaller org. He's not overly exciting, to be honest. And then you got Denis, who, yeah, he's pretty good, but people, he's the dog here, and I think he's a live dog. The problem is Loughran does like to grind, and he is very strong. So something tells me he can kind of wall and stall or stick to him like glue, like not really allow too much strikes at distance, too much separation. I don't know. I don't want to root for that kind of fight. And you know what? Until I see them at the UFC level, they're a pass. I'm not betting on two guys that are relatively unknown that I don't know that well. It's a pass for me. Honestly, it's a straight up pass. What do you think?
He's a grinder. Loughran. It's Loughran. Sorry. He's a grinder. For sure. He pushes guys up, just grinds out fights. That's the way he wins. Giannis is a little bit more diverse in the sense that he does have some TKOs and stuff. What's interesting though is like how many times he's won by submission on the ground, right? So if he is getting grinded on the ground, if he is he live for a submission, live for a triangle choke he's won by before, live for a guillotine, you know what I mean? When the guy shoots in. So those are more defensive submissions rather than, you set him up from the like on top. Or like, rear naked choke, get to the back, whatever, you know what I mean? Or arm bar or anything like. So he's defensively fighting for getting a triangle choke, getting a guillotine, stuff like that. So it shows me at least he goes for it, right? I don't really know how these guys are going to perform on the big stage. We don't know how these guys are going to perform on the big stage. Again, we're looking at minus 334 for Loughran. Ridiculous. To be honest with you, this is one of more the live dogs that I see. So it's a dog or pass. I'm not saying to pick the dog here. I'm saying if I was to play this fight, because I have an exorbitant amount of money and it doesn't matter if I lose money, I would take the dog.
Well, if I had that amount of money, I'd be betting every dog.
Every damn fight I'd bet.
Yeah, honestly, man, a lot of unknown fighters here and not a
lot of passes in this card for me, man. A lot of passes.
100%. Next fight on the card, we got a good one. We got a banger. We got Volkan No Time Oezdemir versus Bogdan Guskov. Oezdemir is a heavy hitter. He's got good hands, but he's also kind of chinny. And then you got Bogdan Guskov, who hits like a goddamn truck, a ton of knockouts. So like everything says, oh, this guy is going to knock out Oezdemir, except it's just, I don't know a single guy that he's beat. Like you look at those wins and that record, and he's beaten no one, but you still have to realize power is very real. It doesn't matter who you hit. That power is still going to exist. It's just, will he be able to land the shot? Like I don't know. What are the odds here?
The odds are Ozdemir's minus 160.
Oh, so I was hoping Oezdemir would be a big favorite because I would take the dog here and by knockout, considering all his wins are knockouts pretty much, and Oezdemir's losses are usually knockouts. So like every part of me wants to choose Bogdan, and for the purpose of picking a winner, I'm going to choose him by knockout. But like no parlay piece here. Like this is probably a singles prop bet when the props drop, because his path to victory is finding the chin, and that's what he does. So I'll probably stab that bet. What do you think?
Scary fight, actually, for Oezdemir. Lately, he's looked very lackadaisical in the octagon. He's potentially had big power in the past, but I haven't seen that lately. He went up against Paul Craig, couldn't knock that fucker out in 3 rounds. And Paul Craig wasn't able to take him down. That's the thing, right? So when Paul Craig gets stuffed, he usually gets his ass beat, right? Usually. Not saying that Paul Craig goes after, but this particular fight got me a little pissed off with the Volkan and the way he's fighting. He's fighting very safe nowadays. This isn't the guy you fight safe against, because he's not going to fight safe against you. He's going to come right after Volkan. So Volkan, you know what I mean? He's got to be old Volkan or he's going to lose. But I feel like he's losing the speed. The other guy has Guskov has the speed advantage. I wouldn't say he has the technique advantage because Volkan does have pretty good technique, right? So I'm not going to say he has the technique advantage here. This is going to be a banger, though. It's going to stay on the feet. But Guskov is going to be faster than Volkan. It comes down to who wants to throw the more volume and whose face gets in the way of those punches. Like, this is 50-50. Minus 160 seems like it's very high for this particular type of fight. And this isn't like those big favorites against those small ones that we've broken down for the last one. This is a little bit closer. This is a little bit more. I think Volkan does have if Volkan wants to stand back, so the way that Volkan wins this is to stay back, wait for Guskov to come forward, and counter him. But what happens when you're a countering fighter? You throw a low volume. You could easily get beat on the scorecards if that somehow gets there. So this fight's tough to call. I'm going to go with the dog here because I truly believe Volkan's on his way out. I may revisit this and come back at it on our next cast, but for now, I'm going to agree with you on the dog. I like the dog as well.
All right. Up next on the card, the featured fight, we got Benoit Saint Denis versus Thiago Moises. Your boy Saint Denis, I know you made bank on him last fight. You picked him to beat that Ismail Bonfim. So that was a big win for you. I remember that. When you look at this fight, I mean, you got to think Thiago is the more technical grappler, like the submission grappler, but Benoit Saint Denis is a freaking unit. So you got to think he will be the one on top. And I don't know if he's going to get subbed from the top position. I like Benoit here, and I know how good Thiago Moises is, and I know he's got a few submissions in a row. It looks like he's actually finally starting to perform to his level. But I don't think he's going to submit Benoit from the bottom. So I like Benoit here by just being an absolute unit, being the guy on top, the stronger guy. I feel like he could probably do, I don't want to say ragdoll him, but I feel like he can take him down probably at will. Like he's a brick shithouse. So I don't know. I like Benoit Saint Denis here. What do you think?
So when we talked earlier this week, I know I'm like, I know he's stronger. I know he's a French military and all that stuff. But then I looked at the odds, and the odds are minus 150 Saint Denis, and Thiago Moises is the fucking underdog. I don't like that. I do not like that. So this is a huge market overcorrection Saint Denis underdog to Dos Santos, Zaleski Dos Santos. He puts on one hell of a durability contest, but loses that fight equally. Comes against one of the Bonfim brothers. Not the good Bonfim, mind you, the lesser of brothers, right? Comes out, shows that he could beat the Bonfim brother as a plus 250 underdog. Now you get this huge market overcorrection for Saint Denis over Thiago Moises. I can't buy into that because this is going from 2 plus 250 to minus 150 over an established UFC guy that has really good grappling, right? So I'm going to go with Moises because the odds dictate that I go with Moises. I feel in my brain, in my head, and as long as we've been doing this, I feel like this is a huge market overcorrection on Saint Denis. And I like the guy. And I've talked to you about him before. I like his style. But market overcorrection is too big here for me to overlook.
So a couple of things here. Benoit opened the underdog. That's how much money's come in on him. When he opened up, he was plus 130 or something. He was 100% the underdog. Tons of money is dumped in on him, and now he's the favorite. I think for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's in his hometown, so if it's a decision, they think he's going to get the rub. And number two is, I think just people are thinking he is the stronger guy. He'll be on top. Like, do you think Thiago's going to sub him from the bottom?
No, but I think he can switch him and
Scramble.
Yeah, scramble up to the top, like, you know, just like use his jits to turn him around, right? And I know that Benoit's smart, right? And you got to you got to think that Thiago's the better overall grappler. I'm not saying that he sells it from the ground. I'm saying that he might just grab a hip and turn him over, right? How do you know what Benoit? Wrestlers suck from the bottom too, right? Remember that. All right. Yeah. So that's the problem. That's like an issue too. So if Benoit gets stuck on the bottom, what happens, right? I don't think he gets finished. I don't think he gets, unless it's a sub. He's not going to get knocked out. We watched that Dos Santos fight. You've seen him get hit in the head 1,005 times in one fight. He's not getting knocked out. Moises isn't a fucking good striker. So a safe bet maybe for this when the props go is fight ends in submission. Both sides. Just fight ends in submission somehow. Unless you think it's going to go to the decision, but I don't think it will.
It's a submission or decision, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, either one.
I'm just not so sure Moises is going to be able to sweep him because he's so freaking strong. And
yeah.
I don't know
what you mean. I know what you mean, buddy. Like, this one's tough, man. I'm all over Saint-Denis, but like, I feel like there's too much of a correction here. That's me.
Fair enough. All right. Up next, we got the co-main event. Probably my most confident pick, I think. We got Manon Fiorot, however you pronounce her name, versus Thug Rose Namajunas. I'm big on Manon here. I think Rose is moving up in weight, which I don't think is smart. And Manon, whatever you want to say, she's a big girl. She's proven that she's very hard to take down. Like, she doesn't look like some strong wrestler or whatever. She's kind of a lanky, rangy fighter, but she actually has very good takedown defense. And she's definitely the better, lengthier, rangier, more technical striker too. I know, Rose, I think, has a certain following that maybe like people are going to be like, Thug Rose has this former champ. She's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then a lot of people, especially the casuals, don't know Manon Fiorot here, but guys, she's a hell of a striker. I think she's going to piece Rose up. Rose is going to have no success with the wrestling. I think a finish might even be live, as crazy as that sounds. But I think this is probably my most confident pick. I think Rose Namajunas is done. Like, I don't even see her fighting again after this fight. I think she's kind of flaky. I mean, I know she had that good run. She had that great feel-good speech of, guys, you can do anything you want, be a good person. Like, I remember that speech when she won the belt. It was great. But she's mentally a little bit flaky here. Sorry to say it. I don't think her head's in the fight game at all. I think this might be her last fight, and I think she's going to get picked apart. I think she might get sniped here. What do you think?
Well, I said my Fiorot before I even knew what we were talking about with any odds. I didn't even know what the odds were. You know what I mean? I thought they were going to give Thug a little bit more respect than the minus 188 that's coming back at her. But I can see why, like, Manon's got the volume. Manon's got the power. Technique's almost the same, but when Rose hits her with one, it's not going to hurt like when Manon hits her with one. The wrestling is definitely Manon, and she showed that she's not scared to go to the ground with good jiu-jitsu players. She went to the ground with Bueno Silva, not even close to getting submitted. She's taken down most of the fighters she's fought at least once in a fight. She's beaten my girl Tabitha Ricci. And I'm all over Manon on this one. I actually do think Thug can hold out. And I think Manon's not going to be too anxious to get to the ground with Thug. And so I think she's going to try to piece her up from range. Now, the only way I think this hits the ground is if for some reason Thug is doing a lot better on the feet than we expect her to do. Because she can. She does show some power, you know what I mean? But think about all her big wins. They're just like one-shot hitters, right? Then she went up against Esparza and can't throw volume. Like, that makes no sense to me, right? So, yeah, I'm going to go Manon. I do think the odds are a little wide. It's a little disrespectful to Rose, but like you said, I think she might be on her way out. And she's such a mental head case. You don't know how she's dealing with the shit in her life, right? You know what I mean? She's like, Pat Barry already pedophiled her back in the day. So, like, I don't know, man. Thug's a different character. I mean, I remember her for knocking out Whaley with the one kick and screwing me over big time on that bet. But, like, she's had her moments, and I respect her career, but I think she's overmatched, oversized. I actually don't think she has the speed advantage here either. No, I don't think
She has no volume. No volume.
so. Like, I think
lost
she is. Yeah,
the striking match to Carla Esparza.
that's true. That's true. No, I'm not disagreeing here. I think she has zero. I'm just trying to find an advantage for Rose.
Maybe power. Maybe power.
Maybe her like distance striking IQ is a tiny bit better because she'll wait a lot and then counter. Maybe her counter striking is better, but I hate counter strikers. And how many times have counter strikers lost in the UFC due to volume? How many times? Yeah, I'm going Mano. I'm pretty high on her.
And funny stat too is if you look at their striking volume, Rose has been in nothing but 5-round fights, and Monona is still outstriking her in 3-round fights, big time. Like the volume is like almost like 3-1. So I just don't see Rose getting off here.
No volume, no speed, no power. How the hell is she gonna win? No wrestling. She might have the grappling edge, but how the hell grapplers need wrestling to get it down, right? She ain't gonna do shit. She's not gonna tap her from the bottom. God, no.
I feel like she needs a lucky haymaker knockout, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see it.
Well, the only way that she loses this fight, Manoi, is if she gets countered like Whaley did with that kick or something crazy like that. Other than that, I think she's got this fight.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to the main event. We got Cyril Gane versus Sergey Spivac. Honestly, it's funny because I actually do give Sergey a chance here. This whole fight comes down to whether he can get the takedown or not. And at first I was like, nah, no way. Cyril Gane's way better. But honestly, man, Sergey's been more impressive than Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane's been kind of Cyril Gane's been decisioning guys or finishing them late. Sergey's been fighting the same guys and finishing them quicker. Obviously, they're two different styles, but also Cyril Gane, if you look at his record, it's like they've kept him from grapplers. This guy hasn't fought any of the wrestlers. I don't know how he's been at the top for so long, but he hasn't fought like a Curtis Blades, another wrestler. He's fought no grapplers, man. It's just been striker. So this is interesting to me. Like, I mean, Sergey is not some D1 American wrestler, but you know what? He's shown pretty good trips. He's shown hip tosses. He has shot some doubles. It'll be interesting. I think you're going to know real quick who wins this fight, and whoever wins it, I think is going to win fairly quick. Like I don't think this is a decision. Sergey's been knocked out, obviously, by Aspinall. Aspinall hits a lot harder, but like either he can get the takedown and find the choke or ground and pound. He has pretty good ground and pound as well. Or Cyril Gane's going to stuff him and light him up. I'll be betting some kind of under here because I don't have huge confidence in either of them. I think they're both live. What do you think?
I think Sergey Spivac wins this fight, actually.
Yes, I hope he does.
I think Sergey... Okay, so the last three guys... Okay, go through the last three guys he lost to. Tom Aspinall, big hitter, right? Cyril Gane is a volume guy. He has to overwhelm you to finish you. He's not a one hitter. Second guy to beat Spivac, Marcin Tybura, has better grappling and better wrestling than fucking Spivac. Cyril Gane does not have better wrestling or better grappling than Sergey Spivac. Next guy, Walt Harris, probably was on roids, but he's a big hitter. Again, so these are the guys he's losing to. He's beating the Tai Tuivasas, the Carlos Felipes, the Jared Vanderas, the guys he should beat, and he's smoking them. He's beaten Derek Lewis, who looked rejuvenated in that last fight, but Spivac took him down time after time and then choked him out. What is stopped? If Spivac was a guy that didn't go to his wrestling or didn't want to, but if you watch the last few fights, he's going to that ground game. He's going to it often. And what Cyril Gane lost? He lost to Francis fucking Ngannou by takedowns. Insane. I just think styles make fights. Spivac has the style to beat Cyril Gane because Gane obviously has a takedown deficiency. Maybe he shored it up, but he got taken down half a takedown against John Jones and got tapped. I wouldn't even call that a full takedown. It was a half takedown and got tapped. I'm going to go. I called the Max Holloway last week, people. I said Max Holloway round 3. I'm going to call Sergey Spivac end of round 2, early round 3, arm triangle choke on Cyril Gane. That's what I say.
I hope so, because I'm getting sick of Cyril Gane in these interim title fights and blah, blah, blah.
He doesn't deserve it.
No, and Sergey Spivac's been looking fantastic. I feel like everyone's like, this guy's not that good. He's fucking good, man. He's good.
He's good. I mean, the level of competition is a little bit less than what Cyril has fought over the last little bit. I mean, he is fighting the Vanderas and the stuff. You know what I mean? They aren't the top, but the way he's dispatching them is the way he should dispatch of that type of competition, right? So he's going up to Cyril Gane. I'm not saying he's going to finish, but this is a 5-round fight. I don't know. With all the grappling that I think Spivac's going to do against Gane, I don't see how he doesn't finish him. Not that he's very powerful. I just think there's so much ground. He's going to spend so much top time. If that's his game plan, if he wants to strike with him, he's going to lose. So.
I mean, he's a finisher. If you look at his record, I think he has 2 decisions and 14 finishes or something like that. It's not even just the submissions, because he kind of does let people up sometimes. Like, he's got weird control, I guess. But he actually has really good ground and pound. Like, he was pounding Derek Lewis with some shots. Like, I rewatched that fight. I was watching some others. Like, honestly, he's getting better and better and better every fight. And I know that he's going to stick to the game plan. I at least know that he's not going to try to stand there and strike. He's going to shoot. So he's going to do what he needs to do. Whether he's successful at it or not, we don't know. But he's going to try. He's going to have the right game plan. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys, these were the early predictions. Like I said, there was a lot of canceled fights. It's only 10 fights on the card. Not a great card. A lot of unknown lower-level fights. Again, like, subscribe. Thursday, we will drop a bet show episode with a bet for every single fight. There's no props out yet, so when those come out Wednesday, we're going to analyze those, and we'll come see you guys Thursday with a bet for every fight. Until then, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk soon.